So in the previous class, we had discussed about parenchyma, right? Did you people have any difficulty in that? Anything you people want to ask me related to the topic? No? All right. Okay, so let us do a quick revision. We know that parenchyma comes under the simple permanent tissue because it is made up of only one type of cells. Now, it is the most primitive kind of simple permanent tissue, and it is the fundamental tissue of the plant, meaning the most basic tissue that is present in the plant. Now, it is the most common tissue in the plants with relatively little specialization, meaning it has not been modified a lot. Now, talking about the characteristics of these tissues, so the cells of this tissue, they are all living cells, meaning protoplasm is present. The shape of the cells may vary. It can be spherical, oval, or polygonal. The cell wall is thin and it is made up of cellulose because we're talking about the plant. So the cell wall is cellulosic. The cells of this tissue, they are loosely packed. Large intercellular spaces are present in them because the cells are loosely packed. So all of the neighboring spaces are empty. Now, there is a large central vacuole and dense peripheral cytoplasm. The cytoplasm present in them, it is peripheral in position. Rest, the vacuole occupies the central or the middle position of the cell. Now, they are found in soft parts of the plant, such as the cortex of roots, the ground tissues in stem, and they are also found in the mesophyll of the leaves. These are the places or the locations in the plant that they are found. Now, the prime function of parenchyma is the storage of food. It is responsible for the storage of food in the plant. What is the food of the plant, students?
Starch.
Starch. It is the reserve food material or the stored food, isn't it? But initially, when the plant makes its food, it is glucose. Then that glucose is turned into, or you can say it is stored in the form of starch. Now, parenchyma undergoes some kind of modification or specialization to form, or you can say perform other functions. So we have chlorenchyma. Now they possess chloroplast. Chloroplast is the structure which has the chlorophyll present inside it. And we know that chlorophyll does the process of photosynthesis. And more particularly, can you tell me what does it do in photosynthesis? What is the function of chlorophyll in photosynthesis?
It captures sunlight.
Very good. It captures the sunlight. It absorbs the light energy and it converts it into chemical energy. So that is the function of the chlorophyll. Now, the second modification is parenchyma. It's when the parenchyma contains the air cavities. And this modification is to provide buoyancy, particularly in the aquatic plants. Students, switch on your videos. Everyone, only one student has a video switched on. Rest, all of you, where are you? Switch on your videos. Come on quickly. And no one will switch it off until I ask you to do so. Come on, switch it off. Switch it on. All right, now moving forward, talking about the steel parenchyma, which is the last type of modification of the parenchyma of plants. So these are the star-shaped parenchyma. So does anyone have any doubts in the parenchyma? Anything you people want to ask?
No.
Okay, very good. Okay, now we move forward and we'll talk about the next type of simple permanent tissue, that is collenchyma. Now see, we know that parenchyma was particularly a very soft tissue, right? With no or little specialization, or you can say modifications. But when we talk about collenchyma, remember that the cells of the collenchyma are also living, just like parenchyma. But they have a unique property and they possess thickenings at the corners of their positions. They have thickenings present. Now, thickenings of what? So the thickenings of pectin, thickenings of hemicellulose. So all of these are the components that it forms the thickenings with. For example, if I draw the structure of a collenchyma, so for example, if this is the cell, okay, if this is the structure of the cell, so what happens is that these positions, they start possessing some kind of thickenings around them. Okay, and these thickenings are known as the wall thickenings. And this is the characteristic feature to identify that, okay, a particular plant tissue is collenchyma or not. Why? Because it will possess some kind of thickenings, will be thickened at these places. Okay, now apart from that, they will have the nucleus present. They will again have a very big vacuole in them, and their cell wall will also be cellulosic in nature. But what is so special about them? The special thing is these cellular, or you can say the wall thickenings. Okay, for example, if we're talking about the normal parenchyma, it has normal walls laid down everywhere. But the collenchyma, it has wall thickenings as a modification, or you can say as an additional thing that is present in it. Now, talking about the features of the collenchyma, so the cells of collenchyma, they are living cells. Remember, many a times this thing can be asked in MCQs, like which of the following has all living cells, and they'll give you certain examples. So if collenchyma is the option, you mark it right, because we know that the cells of the collenchyma, they are living. All of the cells are living. You can't find dead cells in there. Okay. Now talking about the shape and the structure of the cells. So the cells are elongated. They are elongated and possess, and they possess irregular thickening, irregular thickenings at the corner, at the corners, called as, and what are the thickenings called as? They are called as wall thickenings, called as wall thickenings. So it is irregularly thickened and at some places in the tissue. Now, apart from that, the cells of the collenchyma, they see. Now, if you compare collenchyma and parenchyma, like if someone gives you one collenchymatous tissue and one parenchymatous tissue, so how will you find out the difference? The first thing is you look for the thickness, right? And now the second thing that you're going to look for is the intercellular spaces. If you compare the spaces of the collenchyma with the parenchyma, the collenchyma is going to have much less intercellular spaces present. Okay, so talking about the collenchyma, so we'll say that intercellular spaces are very little. Intercellular spaces are very little. Now, if I say that the intercellular spaces are very little, what does it mean? Can someone explain that to me? What does it mean in terms of the cell? If I say that the intercellular spaces are very little.
Ma'am, the spaces between the cell are less.
That's true. The spaces in between the cells are very less. But why? Because the cells, they are placed very closely, isn't it? Because when we talked about the parenchyma, we saw that the cells were placed far apart, right? They were placed just like that, and they were very loosely packed. And since they were loosely packed, so a lot of intercellular spaces were there. Now, talking about the collenchyma, here the intercellular spaces are very little because the cells are not loosely packed. Whenever the cells will be loosely packed, there will be the presence of intercellular spaces. But in this case, there won't be. Any doubts? Okay. Now talking about the functions of the collenchyma. So the first function. Now see, we saw that the cellular thickenings are there. Now these cellular thickenings, if anything is very like firm and thickened, it means that in the case of plants, it is there for providing support, for providing strength. So same goes for the collenchyma. The collenchyma is present in the plant tissue, and what does it do? It provides mechanical strength. So the first thing is that it provides mechanical strength. Now, apart from that, it also provides flexibility to the plant. It also provides flexibility to the plant. Now, if a plant is flexible, then what will happen, students?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
If the plant is flexible, then like what does it mean? Like how is it helping the plant? If it is providing flexibility, then how is the plant benefiting from this particular thing? How is flexibility a beneficial thing to plant? Tell me. Anyone?
Protection from the winds.
Protection from?
Ma'am, winds.
Protection from what?
Ma'am, winds.
Membranes?
No, ma'am, winds.
Wings?
Ma'am, WINDS.
Oh, winds. Okay. All right. So how is it being like protected from the wind by being flexible?
It will not
See.
break easily.
Who said that?
Arham.
Yes. If anything is flexible, right? Meaning you can bend it whichever way you want, but it will not break. So if the plant is flexible and if this tissue provides flexibility to the plant, so what does it allows the plant? It allows the plant to bend in any direction, and then bending in any direction will not break the plant. Clear, students? So thus allows the plant, it allows the plant to bend in various directions without breaking. Now, have you people seen a plant or a flower that has been, you can say that is dead, meaning if you pluck a flower or if you take out a plant from wherever it was living, have you seen that after a while that flower starts to dry up? Right? Everyone has noticed this? Now, when we say that the flower starts to die, it's because, or dry up, it's because all of the cells and all of the tissues, they're slowly dying in the flower, right? If, be it a flower, be it a leaf, or be it any twig or any. Now, if you take that flower and you try to break it or try to, you can say, crush it in your hand, it will happen so easily, isn't it? It'll give a very satisfying crunch, right? It breaks very easily. And even if you take a handful of leaves, or maybe for all of you, if you have autumn seasons where you live, so whenever you walk on the street and you find a very crunchy leaf, how many of you step on it? You're like, ah, crunch, it feels satisfying. Because I do that, honestly. I'm your teacher and I do that. Okay. So why? It's because that particular plant has all the tissues dead inside it. That particular part of the plant is dead. So because it is dead, there is no flexibility in it. And when you step on it, it gives you a very satisfying crunch. Why? Because it breaks wherever it is bending towards. So that is why whenever plant is living, And you can't, if you try to do that, whatever the thing that I told you right now, the silliest thing in the world, if you do that with a healthy living leaf, will you get that crunch? Will you get that satisfaction? No. Why? Because the plant is living and it has all the tissues intact in it. And since it has the tissues intact in it, it means that it has flexibility present in it. And if a plant is flexible, then it can bend in various ways and it won't break. That is the reason why, if you see during like a gust of wind is there, when it is raining also, the plants, they survive. The older trees usually break, right? The bigger ones, they usually break. But the smaller ones, the plant, the twigs that you see, you'll never find them breaking. Why? Because they are very flexible because of the presence of collenchyma. Is it clear? Okay. All right. Now, let us see where is it present. So it is present in the leaves. In the leaves, stems. Okay, in these particular areas, the collenchyma is present, but the collenchyma is absent in roots. Okay, it is absent in roots. Any doubts up until now? Does anyone have any questions related to this?
No, no.
Okay, all right. Now see, apart from all of this, this is like another thing is very important in terms of the collenchyma. Remember that even though this is living, right, but it is going to provide strength. So many a times we think like that, okay, mostly we have studied that the plant tissues, they get modified to provide strength to the plant, right, to provide structural and proper support to the plant. So those tissues that get differentiated, most of them, they die, or most of them, the protoplasm is lost in them, right? That is why they're providing support or turning into fibers and stuff. But remember that collenchyma, it is the living tissue and it provides the mechanical strength. Clear, students? All right, now you people can note it down. So you can draw this diagram too. This part is the nucleus. So the nucleus is again peripheral in position, and this part is the central vacuole. Central vacuole means that it is placed centrally and it is a very, very big vacuole.
Hmm.
Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Now moving forward, we'll talk about the next type of the simple permanent tissue, and that is sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma. Now, this one is very different from the first two that we have studied. And if you look at the picture of a sclerenchyma, so the cell of the sclerenchyma, it is very, very long. And it has a very narrow lumen. So talking about that, this particular part, the middle part is the lumen. So the lumen of the sclerenchyma, it is very narrow. So the narrow lumen is present. And this is like when you draw it, shade it, the whole entire thing. Okay. So this part is the lignified wall. Lignified thick wall. Now, lignin is a material which is very hard, and this material lignin is present in the sclerenchyma. Now, when we talk about the sclerenchyma, so the cells of this tissue, they are dead. The cells of sclerenchyma are dead. All of the cells are dead, meaning they do not have living cells present. Now, the cell wall is long and narrow. Oh, I forgot to switch on my video. Students, switch on your video. The cell wall is thick. The cell is long with a narrow lumen. You people understand the meaning of lumen? What is the meaning of lumen? For example, if this is a rod, okay, for example, now you have cut it here in the middle. And now when you're trying to see it here, for example, if you crack open an egg, right, you do the, and these are the two parts of the egg. Now, when you look at them like this, the whole circular part you'll see, isn't it? So that is the lumen. Lumen means when you cut something and you look inside it, the hollow space, that is the lumen. So the cell of the sclerenchyma, it is long and it has a narrow lumen. Now talking about the cell wall. So the cell wall is thickened, is very thickened. In fact, it is very thickened because of the presence of, or because of the deposition. You people understand the meaning of deposition? Everyone understands deposition?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So it is thick because of the deposition of lignin. Now this lignin, it is a chemical substance. So we'll write a little bit about lignin. Right. So lignin, it is a chemical substance that acts like cement. Have you people seen cement? Like when cement is like wet, it is very sticky and glue-like, right? But once it hardens, it becomes really hard, and all our houses are made up of cement and bricks, right? So this substance lignin is a chemical substance that acts like cement and hardens the cell. It makes the cell hard. It hardens the cell. Clear, students? This much is clear to you all?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Okay. Very good. Now moving forward, talking about the particular cells. Now see this, since the cell walls, they are all around surrounded by the lignin. Lignin has been deposited everywhere. Wherever the cell wall is present, the lignin is present. So because of that very reason, the cell wall becomes so thick that there is no intercellular spaces present at all. Okay, so we'll say that the cell wall is so thick that there is no intercellular space present at all. Okay, so no intercellular spaces are present in the case of the sclerenchyma. Now talking about where is it located. So these are located, they are present in the stem, around vascular bundles. They are also present around the vascular bundles. Okay, so they are present around the stems, around the vascular bundles. Then the veins of the leaf, they also have the sclerenchyma present in them, and they are also present in the hard coverings of seeds and nuts. Have you people cracked open a walnut? Right? It is so hard, right? The outer covering. It is because of the presence of sclerenchyma. So this much is clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, now you can note this down. Done, students?
Yes, sir.
Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.